What if a man stopped sleeping, yet never became tired? What if doctors watched him for months and saw something impossible? What if security cameras recorded him staring into darkness, speaking to someone who was not there? And what if the moment he finally slept, everyone around him wished he never had? The story began with Daniel Hale, an ordinary office worker who claimed he had not slept for 8 days. At first, no one believed him. Insomnia was common, stress, anxiety, too much caffeine. But Daniel looked strangely calm. His eyes were open, clear and steady. No shaking hands, no confusion, just a quiet smile that made people uncomfortable. Doctors admitted him for observation. They connected wires to his head and watched his brain activity through the night. Hours passed, then another night, then another. The monitors showed no signs of sleep. His brain never entered rest, yet his body showed no damage. On the third day, something changed. The nurses reported Daniel whispering to himself, not random words, conversations. He would pause, listen carefully, then respond softly, as if someone stood beside him. When asked who he was talking to, he simply said, "They are helping me stay awake." No one else saw anyone. By the end of the first week, Daniel's behavior grew stranger. He refused to turn off the lights. He claimed darkness was dangerous. When the room lights flickered during a power shift, he screamed with pure terror, collapsing to the floor, begging the staff to keep the shadows away. Doctors suspected hallucinations caused by extreme sleep deprivation, but the medical data disagreed. His brain showed unusual patterns, alert and highly active, far beyond normal waking levels. It was as if his mind had entered a new state. Then came the recordings. Security footage showed Daniel standing perfectly still at 3:17 every morning. He would face the same corner of the room and remain frozen for exactly 9 minutes. No movement, no blinking. Afterward, he returned to normal behavior with no memory of the event. When doctors asked what happened at 3:17, Daniel's expression changed. His calm face tightened with fear. He whispered, "That is when they check on me." The hospital staff began noticing strange details. Equipment malfunctioned around his room. Monitors produced sudden bursts of static. One nurse claimed she heard breathing behind her when standing alone near his door. Still, the hospital continued the study. Days turned into weeks. Daniel never slept. His body did not weaken. Instead, his senses sharpened. He could hear footsteps from distant hallways. He described conversations happening through closed walls. He reacted to sounds no one else noticed. But his fear of darkness became unbearable. One night, a storm caused a total power failure. The hospital fell into complete blackness for 30 seconds. When emergency lights returned, Daniel was found screaming in the corner, clawing at his own face, repeating the same words again and again. "They almost found me." After that night, Daniel begged doctors for a favor. He said he was not avoiding sleep because he could not sleep. He was choosing not to. Because if he slept, they would finally reach him. The doctors dismissed it as delusion, but curiosity grew. What could frighten a man who never felt exhaustion? What could keep a human mind awake for weeks without collapse? On the 31st day, Daniel agreed to attempt sleep under supervision. Cameras recorded everything. Doctors prepared emergency medication. The entire staff watched through observation glass. Daniel lay down slowly, staring at the ceiling with visible fear. His breathing grew heavy. His eyes fought to remain open. Then, for the first time in over a month, Daniel Hale fell asleep. And at that exact moment, every monitor in the room went completely black. When the monitors shut down, the room fell into a heavy silence that no machine could explain. For 7 seconds, the hospital lost all visual data. When the screens returned, Daniel was still lying on the bed, but something felt wrong. His body remained perfectly still, yet his facial muscles twitched as if reacting to something unseen. His brain activity showed extreme patterns never recorded before. Violent waves surged across the monitors. It did not resemble normal sleep. It looked like intense communication. Then Daniel began speaking. His voice was calm, but not natural. He described a place without light, a space that felt endless and cold. He said something had been waiting for him there, watching him every moment he stayed awake. He whispered that sleep was not rest, sleep was a door. The staff listening through speakers felt chills as Daniel spoke names no one recognized. He repeated numbers, coordinates, and strange descriptions of shapes that seemed impossible to imagine. One technician suddenly removed her headset, claiming she heard another voice layered beneath his. A deeper voice, not human. Doctors increased the room lighting, believing sensory control might stabilize him, but the brighter the lights became, the more violent his brain signals grew. Daniel's heart rate surged, his body began shaking. Then his eyes opened. They were completely black. No white, no pupil. Just endless darkness filling both eyes. He sat upright and stared directly at the observation window, as if he could see everyone behind the glass. The staff froze, unable to move. And then he smiled. Every light in the hospital flickered. Doors in the corridor slammed shut simultaneously. A powerful vibration moved through the building like a distant earthquake. For a moment, the air itself seemed heavier, harder to breathe. Daniel spoke again, but the voice was no longer his. They found the way. Security rushed inside the room, but Daniel collapsed instantly, unconscious. His eyes returned to normal. The violent brain activity stopped. Within minutes, he entered deep natural sleep for the first time. When he finally woke hours later, he remembered nothing. No voices, no darkness, no fear. But the hospital soon discovered something far more disturbing. The security footage recorded during the blackout showed a shadow forming beside Daniel's bed. It was not caused by light. It moved independently, stretching upward into a tall human shape before the cameras failed. After this event, Daniel began sleeping normally. However, his personality changed completely. He became quiet, distant, and emotionally empty. He avoided mirrors. He refused to discuss the hospital incident. But people around him started reporting strange experiences. Neighbors heard footsteps inside his apartment when he was away. His reflection sometimes appeared delayed in mirrors. One visitor claimed Daniel's shadow moved even when he stood still. The medical team reviewed his final brain scans and found something impossible. During his sleep, a second neurological pattern had appeared alongside his own, synchronized but separate, like another presence sharing the same mind. No explanation was ever confirmed. Daniel Hale was released from observation and disappeared months later. His apartment was found empty, lights still on, bed untouched. On the bedroom wall, investigators found a message written repeatedly in uneven handwriting. Staying awake was protection. To this day, no one knows what Daniel saw during those sleepless nights. No one knows what reached him when he finally slept, and no one can explain why the hospital sealed all records connected to his case. Some researchers believe extreme sleep deprivation opened a hidden layer of consciousness. Others believe something beyond human understanding made contact. But one question remains. If sleep is a door, then every night when we close our eyes, what might be waiting on the other side? If you have a theory about what truly happened to Daniel, share your thoughts below. Your ideas may help uncover the truth. And if mysteries like this disturb your curiosity, subscribe to Lost Beyond Sight, like this video, and stay awake with us.